Small business guys are like, I want somebody that's going to work just as hard as me, get the same amount done that I would get done.
We're growing. Like, I know this sucks, but like, look at what we've done. Look at where we're going.
It's legal to beat your wife with a rod smaller than your thumb on the courthouse steps. It's legal.
That
it
is
says
actually
it in the code.
that's actually true.
All right, guys. Rocky Hollow Podcast #1, and my name is Tim Meeks. This is my wife.
Hannah makes
I'll let her say her own name sometimes.
sometimes.
All right. So what we're gonna do this new podcast series, we're gonna just talk about how we got to where we are in business, how we got to where we are in our relationship, how we raise our kids, how we just different ways that we've built our business and the struggles we've went through and
Growth,
how
personal
important-
development.
how important relationships were as we were going through all this, and really just the people that are still on the way up, even to the point where we are. We just want to give them some guidance and make them feel like, hey, you're not as lost as you think you are.
Yeah.
Like everybody's been there, and nobody wants to tell the story. So maybe part of that story comes out, and they feel, like they're on the right path, because it's a path that less people succeed in than start by a lot.
Yeah. Or even if they do start or succeed, they really don't want to tell how they failed or the struggles, because sometimes it can be embarrassing, I think, to talk about, or people just don't want to tell it. So
Yeah, they don't want to. You learn more from failures, but they don't want to talk about their failures,
Right.
just because it is embarrassing. And a lot of people won't tell their failures, so you feel like you're the only one that's failing.
yeah, and I think too, like sometimes when you go on social media, that's all you see is where people have succeeded and had fun, because most people don't really post again like where they've just done terrible. They post,
Just like you're always posting happy stuff, and that's it.
well, because I'm a happy person.
Well,
Look, I don't like negative energy.
we're also
I
going to
like
teach how to keep your wives in order.
Tim
and,
Meeks.
And if you're from Alabama, here's a tip. It's legal to beat your wife with a rod smaller than your thumb on the courthouse steps. It's legal.
That
it
is
says
actually
it in the code.
that's actually true. You looked it up and let me know that one day.
So if you didn't know that, that's how you keep her straight, is get your stick, take her to the courthouse in front of everybody. She'll straighten right up.
Don't even
We've
act
only
like
had to go there once, so it's fine.
you had to get married to get our marriage license.
Well, that's when I'll let you know that we can come back if we need
Wives ain't scared of their husbands. Look, something
Right.
I've always told Tim in a relationship, I'll just point out real quick. You might be the head, but I'm the neck.
to. Well,
And I make the head.
Sound like your dad. That's so terrible. Oh, all right. So one of the first things that we was wanting to talk about really is time and money, and how those are usually unequal
Yeah.
for most of the time. And I mean, you say you start out, you have tons of time, no money, and people kind of feel bad that they're not bringing money in, but are they really taking that time that they have and using it, getting the most out of that time?
Yeah, because if you have more time and you don't really have the money, you can really look at, okay, like what skill can I learn, whether it's to gain more money or to just accomplish whatever goal you're trying to get to by learning that skill yourself.
Right. And also, when you start making more money, what should we do at that time?
Yeah.
It's a big change, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn. So
Yeah, it was.
So really, like, start out, say, when I first started, I had a job making good money when I decided that I wanted to do metal work. I already had a pretty good job, but I had all weekend, 3 days a week of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday free. So to take that time, I did jobs that I lost money on almost every time. But I would learn something every time. So
Yeah.
I might do a job that took me 10 hours that paid $120, but I learned those whole 10 hours by failing and then doing it again and just keep failing. And if you're starting out and you just feel like you're always like, I'm never making any money, but you're learning the stuff now while there's not a risk. There's not so much of a monetary risk because you have the extra time to do it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, even those moments too, like if you are, I think you can also learn a lot. Like if you're mentally, it's very easy to get mad and frustrated if like you're constantly losing money and to get into like almost a depressed negative mindset that can almost block that thinking of that I am learning, like I'm growing myself. You know what I mean? Like I think people can fall into like a very low point when they are trying to grind and make it work, but but they are making themselves more valuable in the process.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and positive mindset's a big deal because there was a few years that I stayed so depressed. I used to make fun of people. They're like, "Well, I got depressed and it's just affected my health," and I was like, "Y'all are some weak people that need to grow up."
Yeah.
And then when then it happened for 2 years, I couldn't even eat. I stayed sick in my stomach. Random. I would work all night and sleep during the day because my sleep schedule was so messed up because I couldn't sleep for long periods of time. So I might sleep at lunchtime and then get back up and work till midnight because I was so stressed out, like nothing was just working out the way I thought it should.
Yeah. Well, and two, I think if it's you, the one that's depressed, it's super easy to dismiss and not be aware of like how bad you actually get in those moments. You know, like you can look at other people and think, man, like they must be really struggling and think you're not doing as bad. But a lot of that's just you're suppressing it because you're just trying to make it through.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's a big deal to start, like, find a group of guys or girls, whatever, just doing the
Yeah.
same thing you are. And I don't mean like your mom and your sister that are going to be like, well, it's just too hard, just quit. I'm talking about like people that's doing the same thing you are, hopefully doing better than you are, but some of them can be just at the same level or right there with you to be like, man, I'm really struggling this week. Oh, hell, me too, but let's go. Like,
Yeah.
step it up instead of, like me, I wouldn't talk to a person. I wouldn't see a person for a week sometimes, like not a human at all. And that's really like it's a big toll on you to just be completely distant from everybody, no social media, hardly no nothing, just talk to a couple customers, somebody might drop something off for a few minutes and then you're back by yourself for weeks and months at a time where you just don't see nobody
Yeah.
because you're just trying to work and you feel like you're the only one and it's never going to get better. And it would have been awesome if I'd have had a group of people like, hey, this sucks this week. Oh, yeah, I know. But it's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Yeah, or like have them come over or something. Because, well, you're built for, like, humans are built for community and relationships. Instead of not have that, I mean, you're really missing that connection that, like you said, that keeps you going.
Yeah, so I think the big part is just when your time starts out, you have so much time. Just focus like, all right, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to learn this. And I mean, I learned a lot of stuff off of YouTube. I just watch YouTube and do that and try it and try different things. You got a lot of time to experiment and see what you like, what you don't like, what you are good at, and what you just really struggle with. And since you have that extra time, if you use that, build it up. Now, as you start conversing over and getting to like, all right, I'm converting something, some word like that. When you start converting,
I wasn't going to correct you.
that's the first. When you start converting over where your time and money is equaling out, you got to quit some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people grow up poor and just where they learn to do everything themselves. I mean, I was working 80, 90, 100 hours a week and I'd still mow my grass. Like, why was I doing that? I should have paid somebody else because I can make more money in the time that I mowed my own grass. I can make more money than I had to charge them.
Then they had to charge you.
Golly.
Yeah.
I
You
can
couldn't
make more money. I can make more money in an hour
Yeah.
doing my business than what I would have paid them for an hour
Yes.
per mowing grass. So why was I mowing grass? Because my minimalist mindset said, hey, do everything yourself because you can afford nothing.
Now, I don't believe he cut the grass because when we got married, that grass was taller than me. So,
No. You're 5 foot tall. It was 4 foot tall. It was taller than the kids.
yeah, the kids got lost in the
That's
yard, I'm
because
pretty sure.
I left and didn't mow grass at all because I was never home during the daytime.
Should have paid somebody.
I wasn't home to see it. I didn't know the grass was tall because I was only there at night. I couldn't see but 10 foot out, so it wasn't a big deal.
But also, too, let me say this. So, like, with skills that you learn, so you have a story that I think you could probably tell, like, about a Jeep and fixing things. Now, you grew up, though, with a dad that could do those things. Not everyone has parents that are in that situation. So, like, for me, we grew up poor in lots of areas, but, like, now there's things I learned, and I will work. I love to work, and I love to help, and I learned how to work. But your skills that you learn don't have to look the same as that, but those were just the environment you were in.
Yeah.
already, like with your family.
Well, he didn't know nothing about building the Jeep. That was me and Pirate4x4.com.
Okay. But your dad,
we built that Jeep.
right? Okay, but your dad works on things. Your dad fixes
Yes, we
things.
learned-
Like that was
We
a
learn
thing. Yeah.
skills, how to work, and that's what we
Right.
tell the kids. You need to learn how to work, because once you learn how to work,
Yes.
anything you want to do, you can accomplish easier because you've learned the skill of working, not necessarily on that thing, but working in general.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Well, because
Right, but that's not, everybody's not trying to get in that same business, but they do have time.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're, even if they're working a 40-hour job and they're still living with their parents or whatever their situation is. I mean, if you work 40 hours and then you sleep 8 hours, there's a lot of time left to learn instead of watching TV or,
Yeah.
just being on your phone. There's a lot of time to learn.
Yeah.
And most of them don't take that time to, I always say you shouldn't work your life away, but at some point it takes time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to sacrifice that time to learn.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm working the weekend, I don't mean I'm in the shop building things. I mean, I'm learning and trying to get things situated and learning how to grow and, furthering other things.
Right.
So we're always on like this growing kick, but we're just not grinding the same thing, because that's insanity to just do the same thing all the
Over and
time,
over, yeah.
hoping that it gets better.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to get better
Right.
unless you make the changes to get better.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's different skill sets you're going to grow up with, but the main focus is you need to build your business quit running like a small business, or start running like a big business to start with. You don't see the CEO of some company outside mowing the grass, trimming shrubs,
Yeah.
because his time is better put somewhere else, and that's what we need to learn how to do.
Yeah, which is a hard transition when you manage and do things yourself for so long. Like finding someone that you feel like can do it as good as you can or as effective as you can in the time frame that maybe you could do it in. Like that's really hard. That's, I think, one of the harder things when you transition from being out in the shop, just because other people weren't as fast.
Yeah, from your own stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so the rule that I go by is, if it takes me 1 hour to do something, I bid the job at 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because on a great day, your best employee will do 80% of what you expect.
Yeah.
And a good employee will do 50% of what you expect. And the problem with most small business guys are like, I want somebody that's going to work just as hard as me, get the same amount done that I would get done. And then they're mad when they don't do it. And then they're like, this guy sucks and I'm going to fire him. I need somebody better. And that you can take the smirk off your face.
I feel like you're describing yourself right now.
Maybe one time, yeah. That's how I know. That's how I know the difference, because it was that way and it was terrible.
For a long time.
Because I expected them to do what I could do, and
Well-
if they couldn't do it, then I shouldn't pay them. But
Well, and I
that's
think he
not-
also expected people to care like you care, but they don't, because it's not their business, and they
Well,
haven't worked
no.
as hard as you had to
But
get
you
to this
also,
point.
they're never going to care like you are, but they should care some, and they're only going
Yes.
to care some if you put in the work to push towards a goal with them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Um,
But we know that because of going through it.
yes,
Yes, with a lot of employees and together.
right. So, but run it like a big business. Start picking out the thing that you can do the best, and you may not even run the business. You may be like, I can weld and fabricate better than anybody else. I'm just really good at that, so I need someone to manage the business. You don't, when you move up, it don't necessarily mean that you're going to move up to be the CEO type person.
Yeah.
It might be you'd still do that same thing that brings in the most money. You just need to start giving away other jobs so you can do what makes the money more often.
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of people, instead, they're like, I need to be the boss instead of what skill set is best for me, and let me push that for the business. And eventually you'll hire them all away.
Yeah,
if
right.
If you're lucky.
So the point is, you're going to go from, you have more time than money, but eventually you're going to have more money than time, and you can give those jobs away so that you're not the way you manage your time is going to look different.
Yeah, well,
And-
I can only work an hour per hour.
Yeah.
But if I'm making double what I expect, what I need to survive, if I'm making double that, now I can pay somebody else. So I'm just making what I can survive again. I'm back to being broke, but somebody else is doing some of the work. So I should be able to get to that double amount faster.
Right.
and then I hire another person, and I can get there even faster because we're getting a system. We're learning how to do it. Now there's 3 of us, and I can just keep every time I get up where I'm making money, I just go back to being broke again to keep building it.
Yeah. Yeah, which we had to do a lot.
We still do that.
We still do that.
You're only comfortable if you're comfortable in your business and you feel like everything's going good and you're not stressed. It's because you're not growing.
Yeah.
And growing businesses tend to die. So unfortunately, we have to keep going.
Yeah, and we want to. We want to keep growing. We want to keep adapting. We want to keep doing different things. So I think a lot of people can get complacent or like they're just happy where they're at, and that's fine. But you really get to where there's no more. I don't want to say challenges, but things where you feel like you're in like an uphill climb trying to get somewhere because, like people enjoy the journey.
No, they don't.
They do.
They don't enjoy.
They should.
They should, but they don't.
Oh, well,
they enjoy what they're.
Sorry.
Well, you're weird for most people. Most people see a goal that they want to get to or some shiny little object that they're chasing, and then the closer they get to that object, and it's every time they get close, and then there's this other thing that they can see that's even further away that they want more than that one. So when that one gets there, they were miserable the whole time. They get to the first one, but there's already a new goal, and they pass right by that first one still miserable.
Yeah,
if they don't learn to do to appreciate the journey.
Yeah, and there's countless stories. I mean, you hear about with people that do that. So, so the thing we're going to talk about is as far as so also in that time frame that you're in, like people that are in your life in that moment, like the relationships you've made, and like how that can help you grow in the future. You may just not really see it in the moment.
Yeah. We've got really good stories of, which we'll get to. Eventually we'll tell the stories about how we swapped, or how we came across Brush Monster, period. Mm-hmm. How we built that, why we swapped from off-road to Brush Monster, and if I was going to go redo a full-time off-road business, what would I do different? I even had a guy message me 2 days ago and was like, hey man, I see that you swapped. I'm struggling in this off-road stuff, and I would like, what and why did you swap over?
Yeah.
And I kind of give him a little quick rundown, and you can make it, obviously, you can make an off-road business. There's tons of people that do, but it's different dynamics, mindset, how you set it up, and what your end result for a business is to if and how you're going to be successful to do that.
Yeah, like what's your goal for it?
Yeah. And what you say in relationships, like time and money, you got so much time, but in that time, when you are learning, it's like, who are you learning with? Mm-hmm. Who have you learned from? Building those relationships to start with, because honestly, one of my earliest relationships, being a hard worker, just kind of rolled into me being in the right place and other stuff that I said to even be able to accept the business that turned into Brush Monster for us. Yeah.
There's just lots of moments where in life I think you go through and it can just feel just so insignificant, or like you're not moving and you're not growing and you're just kind of feeling super stagnant, and you may be, but also like just being aware that, like you just said, people you meet, you just don't ever know how they could refer you to someone or put you in different rooms you need to be in to meet other people. There's just some relationships that you may not see in that moment, but maybe 4 or 5 years down the road has got you into a room with people that has changed the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm like, oh, this is a great person. I'm going to keep this relationship because I can help them, they can help me. There are a lot of people that I'm like, this is somebody I don't even want to deal with, and they may have done some things that I don't like, and I want to say, shoot them a bird, tell them what I think, tell them not to come back, but I don't. And sometimes later, since I did not make a big deal out of it and just been the bigger man, it's come back and helped me, because even though there wasn't like a real relationship, just having that contact has helped me a ton later on.
Yeah.
And come back to make me a lot of money. So,
yeah, well, and not stooping down to like whatever their level was, not stooping down to meet them, like you staying above maybe how they were acting or whatever it was, or something you didn't like being better than that. And they probably left later and thought about that they
Yeah.
like that quality.
Yeah, instead of just burning the bridge, I just left the relationship
Yeah.
to where I just didn't associate with them.
Yeah.
And you just come back later to be a good thing. And some people have got better too. Instead of them hating me from years before, as they've got better, now we can do something, do some sort of business together.
Yeah. Well, even, I mean, I like that even if it's just someone that whether it's for business or not, even just a friend in general, or anyone in general. Like if someone acts a certain way, in my response, I do not want to respond in a way that is putting me with them. Like I would rather respond with more like dignity or just respect for myself and even them, because I don't want to be that person that's like, if it's a fight, like bickering back and forth and
I know,
shooting shots.
No, I know.
Because I don't.
You always tell me that I ignore you, but really, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying not to go down to your level when you're complaining.
If there's any
you
level
say I'm
that
ignoring you, but that's really what it is. I think most men agree with me that we're not ignoring our wives. We just.
I think if we asked the kids,
don't
they
need to
would say
join
that
that.
you're a liar, and it's probably roles reversed.
No, they know the truth.
We're gonna bring the kids in.
Another
We'll
thing
call
too,
you out.
Hey, another thing too that really is a lot of people do, and I think it's a mistake for the most part, or at least once you can fix it, is talking about time and money and getting somebody else to do some work. Relationship wise, me and you are in this together.
Yeah.
And when I say I'm not going to do certain things, I also don't want you to do certain things. When we have more, when we're starting to make more money, and
Yeah.
one of that is being the secretary. I hate that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of guys, they're like, well, my wife's the secretary, she handles this, she does this, and that's fine initially.
Yeah.
Like especially if you don't have the money, you're
Trying
a
to get
team,
things
so you should
going.
do it. But you shouldn't be like, all right, I'm hiring somebody to do this, somebody to this, but you are going to still be the secretary. And a lot of the reasons I don't like that is you're tied down to it. Like you'd be tied down to this office, and now I'm starting to get freedom, and you don't have it.
Yeah.
Now you still like manage the office. You still make sure everything's done and handled, and I don't really know what you do because I don't worry about it because you do it.
That's right.
But if we want to leave on a Wednesday and go out of town,
Yeah.
the office still runs.
Yeah. Well, because then at some point too, you're together still, but you're not growing together. You are, but you're not. Like I would still be stuck here, like you just said, and not getting to experience the rewards that come with all of our sacrifice and
Right,
struggles
'cause-
of going through it. So I'm still here, and then
Tied
you get to
down
go off. Yeah.
Tied down answering the phone or shipping stuff out.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, and two, one thing for me also that was something huge for me, and I know everyone's different, like maybe your goals and what you want. And we'll go through this too, like as far as like figuring out what role you want to play in a business when you decide to work together, like what that can look like, and all of that varies in different situations. But one thing for me was not wanting to be a full-time secretary because we had kids, like younger kids. When we got married, they were 3 and 4, and even
you had a job and you wouldn't quit.
I did quit.
You wouldn't quit.
Okay, but for different reasons. But a lot of that's because I didn't want to quit my job because before we got married was a very independent person, and it terrified me to think about quitting my job and then solely, like, even though I know I was coming to the business, I still was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like if we don't work out or something happens, like I don't know what I'm going to do. So that was hard to let go. But I did want to, like as a wife, like I wanted to come with you and like grow with you and even serve you as a wife and then help raise the kids. But
How long did that last? Like a month
what?
that you worked?
Yeah, it was like a month.
Yeah. Because I said, listen, I'm about to hire somebody.
Was it even a full month? Which you did hire somebody.
No, I said I was about to hire somebody to do things at the shop I'm going to pay more than you make.
Yeah.
So don't you think that should be you? And you can also take care of the kids.
Yeah. No, it did, and I knew the common sense behind it. It was just really like letting go of the control I did have. That was hard
so
because I'm
sometimes-
usually the one that's in control. So letting go of that was difficult.
Occasionally, I think, man, I wish she would go get a job somewhere else, like leave.
But if I left, you'd be like, please come back. No, but so again, full time secretary. I didn't really want anybody else raising our kids either. I didn't want to have to hire a nanny, which we couldn't afford a nanny, and they do have other parents they would go see. But as far as when they were with us, I wanted to be that person that.
Well, and you get that call, hey, they're sick.
Yeah.
They forgot this. And if I don't have to do it, you can just go and do it,
I have
or
the
I can do
freedom.
it if you're doing something. We had a lot more freedom. But
Yeah.
people ask me all the time, "Is your wife the secretary?" I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Wouldn't do it.
There was a time we had a secretary. She quit for a little bit, so there was like a short time frame that it was me. So it was me and the kids in the
Miserable.
office,
A
and
short,
it was
miserable time period.
it was yes, easily one of the hardest times because they were little in an office with me, and I would literally just walk out in the
Oh,
shop
I'm
and
in
be
part,
like,
where I'm telling, like, I need this done.
"Oh yeah,
You're difficult. You're the worst secretary I ever had. You are.
Why?
Because I say I want something done, and you're like, well, I'm gonna do it this way. And I'm like,
oh well, probably because my way was better and yours made no sense
and it's just your way now. I don't care. I don't even know.
because it
I
flows
can't
better."
ship a package. I can't take a payment.
No.
I can't make an
Yeah,
invoice.
no, you'll mess it
I
up.
can kind of run the printer
Yeah,
from my
no.
phone if it'll connect.
Usually it doesn't.
Bluetooth printers are terrible.
Yeah, they're the worst. But so again, it freed as far as our time. Again, with our time and money, it was much more helpful for me to be able to be available for the kids and him and the business at all at the same time while still having a secretary. So yes, I agree.
Yeah, when we go on vacation, we can leave and it's handled.
Yeah,
Plus, we've always had great people doing like great girls doing
Oh,
secretary.
yeah.
It's always been extremely nice.
yeah.
And we've had to
been-
fire a few customers for being rude to the secretary.
That is
We
true.
do that.
I will say, working in a male dominant industry as a female can be difficult because, buddy, they'll call the phone and talk to you like you're the stupidest person on the face of this earth.
Yeah, and to fix their attitude, all I got to do is just pick the phone up, and then their attitude goes away.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I guess
They're
it's,
super nice. I'm like, they were nice to me.
yeah, because we would be like, they were so rude, and you're like, well, they were great, and I'm like, probably because you got a deeper voice than we do.
Yeah. You remember the guy I called and cussed him out?
There was like a multiple of those.
Well, the main one that I
that
called
that
and
came
cussed
back
out.
and gave her
Yeah.
flowers and lunch money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I made him feel so bad.
Yeah.
I
'cause
picked the phone up. I said, well, I called and his wife answered. And he called back and answered. And I was like, dude, if I'd have talked.
was he
what I
here rude or
called-
on the phone rude?
On the phone rude.
Okay.
He was screaming at one girl, and the other girl could hear it sitting across the desk. That's how
Yes.
loud he was screaming.
Okay.
Because we charged him taxes. Okay. Well, that wasn't us, buddy. That was somebody else that charged you taxes.
Yeah, because you called back to like let him have it. This is one of those moments where he was just like gonna go off, but the wife answered.
Yeah, and I was extremely nice to her.
Yes.
And then when he called back, I said, now, I was mad at you, but did I call and treat your wife bad?
Yeah.
No, I was very nice to her and waited until you called me back.
Yeah.
But he did feel bad, and he brought flowers and lunch money and paid the taxes.
Yeah. To the girl, he and apologized.
Apologized. And then,
Well, you
tried
told
to
him.
call
You
back
told
and
him he
been
had to
like-
come back and apologize.
yeah, I told him he
He had to
come
apologize.
to her or he couldn't get his stuff.
Yeah.
He had a cylinder, like a hydraulic cylinder, and I said, if you don't come apologize to her in person, I will take it apart, take our stuff back out, and you can have a box of parts.
Yeah.
Because I will not give it back to you.
Fixed. Like you were to give it back
Right.
to him. What
I
was
gonna give
wrong with
back
it?
to him,
Yeah.
but take all our stuff back
Where,
off.
where we fixed it. Yeah. There was one guy too that I don't really know what it is about it with men, but he had come in and paid for I guess another cylinder, and I had just pulled up in the parking
Nice to
lot of the
everybody.
shop. Yeah, super. Had talked to Tim, the secretary, paid it, had conversations. I pulled up in the parking lot, and he was I guess leaving, walking to his truck, and he stopped me, and he was like going off to me about the prices, what he had to pay, and how much we charged, and couldn't believe it was that much, and whatever. So then I went inside and I asked you. I said, "Was he rude?" And you said, because I told him, I said, well, I mean, it's just is
Well,
what
yeah.
is what it is. Like
But this guy-
we do a good job.
We had been here 6 years at this point. He'd never been here in those 6 years. He didn't think prices went up in 6, 7, 8 years.
No, yeah,
I know, he was very rude. So I went to his truck. I called him before he left, and he's like, "I'll never be back." I said, "That's really convenient because you are not allowed to come back.
Yeah.
Like, do not ever come back to my shop again.
it was just wild for him
Because
to literally.
if he can't treat people right, we don't need his money."
Yeah.
Like, and I do think, like, everybody's like, customers are always right. Hell with that.
No.
They're not even first. First in the business is me and you. Because if we don't have our shit together, then
Yeah.
it's not going to do
Everything else is
anything.
gonna go
Second
bad.
is
Yeah.
the business, because if there's no business, what does that matter?
Yeah.
Third is our employees, because we're going to take care of our employees. Because if our employees aren't doing the work, we can't sell to a customer no way.
Yeah. Can't have the
So
business.
then fourth is the customers. That's fourth.
Well, and honestly, even with customers, most of the time when it comes to this industry, they don't even know what they're talking about.
That's true. Most of the guys that call y'all and get mad when they talk to a girl is because y'all ask them a question that they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't want to know.
They
Like,
don't know the
can't
answer to, and they
handle-
want to know. Like, they don't like that we're asking something they don't know about,
Right.
like
They
this
can't
type
handle
of
that
equipment.
y'all have a question that they can't answer.
Yeah.
And then they get, I guess, embarrassed or insecure and treat y'all bad. And
well,
I get
and-
the phone, ask them the same question. They're like,
That's what I was
don't
about to
know.
say.
I'm like, okay.
Well, and what's funny, yeah, they just tell you they don't know. But what's funny too is that, like, if Anna or somebody tells them something and then they're like, is there a man I can talk to? Or they will literally say, is there a man I can talk to? And then he'll get on the phone and then they'll ask the question. Then you'll either say the same thing she said or you'll say, oh, yeah, she can help you, and then give the phone back to her.
Yeah, I've done that a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'll hear what happens.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I got something to help you right here. Put them on hold, hand them right back to her.
Yeah.
Make them
Go
do
back
it
to her.
her.
Yeah. Because she already know
Yeah,
the
that's
answer.
my favorite thing.
Yeah, it is funny. So, I agree. We got off on the tangent from the secretary, but yeah, as far as what your time is going to look like in your business, especially working together as a couple, figuring out your roles, and then long term what that's going to look like, deciding on what role you want to play.
Right. And honestly, like people that are starting businesses, a lot of times they haven't even asked their wife, what part do you want to play?
Yeah,
Like, do you want to be involved? And we'll discuss that because that's a big deal.
that is a lot. Because there was a time frame. I mean, you said like, even my sister told me, she was like, Hannah, he doesn't want you here, and I was like, well, too freaking bad. I'm already here, and I'm invested. So.
Well, it's just, you never have that discussion. They're just like, I'm going to do this. There's no updates. There's no, what's the goals? It's like the guy has all this plan and he never talks to the girl about it. And really, they're like, well, I'm doing all this work and I don't have a good relationship. And she's I thought, but you come home, all you do is you take all the negative things about the day, all the complaints, sit on the couch and be on your phone and eat dinner, and you're in a bad mood and go to bed. Like, of course, do you expect her to be happy? And do you expect her to want to see you when you come home and all you did is complain and be in a bad mood? But they're so caught up in that what their life is like and what they're going through, and they are stressed out. They never even analyze, who am I when I get home?
Well, and I think too, like, it's so easy to see your own stress and see your own sacrifices that you're not even thinking about, well, how are they sacrificing? Because from the outside, it could look like I'm not doing anything. Not really, but if it's just the kids. But there's a lot of sacrifices that as a wife can make, so that you can succeed in what you're doing. Whether that's putting off things that we want to do, or keeping the kids all day and then trying to make sure that things are good when you get home. That just
right.
where it's
Have my shit ready.
it's gonna be ready is your bag on the porch. I'm just kidding. But it's just very easy again to grow in a business. There's sacrifices made all the way through in your marriage, in yourself, with your family, things you want to do, and it's just easy to get caught up in, well, I'm not doing this and I'm doing this and this is happening and I'm distressed and we have to do this, while the other person's also thinking the same thing, but you're not seeing each other. You're only focused on yourself.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I think we've hit most stuff we want to hit, but we do have some good stories that we want to tell.
Yeah, some very
and
funny ones.
Some more transition stuff about how to grow your business and step up to what you're going to do. How to start structuring from the start to end up at a point you want to end up, hopefully a lot faster than we did.
Yeah.
So if you just want, like, what's one thing you just want to leave people with that we've kind of discussed today that you think is probably the most important detail, or something that you worked on, something you had to personally work on to achieve some of the things that we've done?
Yeah, so that's hard to say. Well, one thing for me, I mean, which...
But you only get one thing.
Okay.
I said one thing.
Okay, well, the one thing for me that it will stem from even when I was younger that I think helped me in all this growing transition was for me, my mentality and attitude. Like knowing that he was so stressed for here, it helped. Like I wanted to keep a positive atmosphere. Like it helped me want to stay more like looking for the positive, looking for this is hard, but like we're growing. Like I know this sucks, but like look at what we've done, look at where we're going. Just in all of your moments where you're trying to grow a business and things are super hard, or even if it's not a business, whatever it is, looking at the skills that you're learning and how to mentally, when you're so stressed, like calm yourself and look for the area that is, I don't know, like just like the most positive. Like, what am I getting out of this that I would miss if I stayed at this lower level? Like, that helped me push through. And then staying in a good attitude when the kids are around and just showing like growth is hard, but the way that you perceive your growth can honestly be the trajectory on how fast you actually grow. Like if you stay negative, it will take you longer to grow if you stay negative. But I think if you're looking for opportunity and positivity, even in the hard areas, you'll grow a lot faster.
That was a lot.
Sorry.
Why you tell so much?
I know. I think I just was rambling.
All right. I would probably say my one thing, as far as the relationship between us, and this is a relationship and like work relationship, but I think my biggest thing was like my attitude, and when I would be like, all right, I don't like how she's, I think she's feeling distant. I think she's doing this. I know we're all stressed. What's her problem? Instead of what's her problem, I learned to say, what am I not doing?
Yeah.
Like I would look at it myself first. I'd be like, what am I not doing to make her happy? Am I doing something that is making the business harder, making the home harder, and go to fix that? And then also saying like, is there anything what am I doing that would even make her happy? Period. Is there anything I'm doing, or am I just being depressed and not in a good mood, dragging her down and giving her no reason to like me at all?
Yeah, you did that. You would do that very well, and have those conversations. Like a lot of times, you would just even ask me.
We didn't have. Well, I just kept asking you 1,000 times, and you'd finally tell me. That's how this goes. It still happens today.
It does not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it. So that's
So a lot of it's like time and money, attitude, relationships.
Yeah, spend your time until you get enough money. Spend your time growing as much as you can learn. And just random things we didn't really cover that we talked about. We like the random things. We'll do that on the next one. Like the random things that we learned skills in that we had no idea would help us so much now. Because there's a ton of stuff that we did that in.
Yeah.
And then relationships. Keep all the relationships you learn and the people that that does things that's not even related to you. You never know where you're going to get to. And then positive attitudes.
Yeah.
Like mental health type stuff, like making sure you are having somebody to, go back and forth with.
Well, even keep you accountable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just checking in on you to make keeping each other up, because it's hard to find. It's hard to find people that you trust to do that with.
Yeah. Like you. All right, so man, we'd appreciate if y'all share the show with some people. Tell somebody that may benefit from something we're going to go over, things we're going to do. And if you got any questions of anything you'd like us to go over, comment those. Send them to us on Facebook or Instagram, or comment in the comments here. Let us know what you got.
Yeah, we'd love to hear all the questions or any things you guys want to hear from us, because it's going to get gooder.
All right, and that is going to be it with that comment.